Hello everyone, my name is Dukhan and I will introduce you what is the PLC. The PLC means Programmable Logic Controller SE. It's a ruggedized computer used for industrial automation. This controller can automate a specific process, machine function, or even an entire production line. And the advantage of PLC over relay system, the first one and the simplest one is advantage is reliability. The internal relay system of the PLC are solid state. This means that the relay function is not mechanical like conventional relay system and component. Traditional mechanical relay might hard much faster than the electronic in the solid state relay. Every time a mechanical relay open and close, the contact will arc slightly. The arcing can eventually destroy the contact. This is simply not the case with the solid state type relay for in our PLC system. The second is easy to troubleshooting. First, in the relay system, there will be several more wires plus the relay and possibly other components that are needed in a PLC. This makes finding problem much harder. Each physical relay needs a minimum of 4 wires to operate and function. A relay output card on a PLC sends out only one wire to the output device. You can only imagine how much easier it is to troubleshoot the PLC system with multiple outputs versus the relay system with 4 times the number of wires. Easiest band a PDT. So one of the best features that I introduced you is the a traditional relay system is versatility with the programming and easy expandability. For example, if you want to add a timer to make a motor turn after 5 seconds, you would just add it to the program and set it to 5 seconds in the PLC. For a relay system, you would have to add an entirely new physical component. This makes expanding a system much cheaper, not only for component cost, but labor saving as well. If you have a relay system, someone will have to pay to install a wire or the new component. So the last is the smaller size. So as you can see, the physical size requirement of the PLC system are far smaller than a cabinet needed for relay logic circuitry. Most of the physical relay timer, counter, and controller for a relay logic system are contained in the PLC itself. Depending on the machine a cabinet contains, the PLC can easily be a third of the size of a relay logic cabinet, possibly even smaller. So we look back the advantage of the PLC. PLC are much more reliable and are easier to troubleshoot. The mechanical function of relay simply wear over time. Plus, the wiring required to operate a relay system is much more complicated than a PLC system. This can also cause higher costs to install and operate due to extra labor costs. One of the major advantages that I was introduced you is the versatility of PLC with its programming and internal relay timer counter among other features. The next is architecture of PLC hardware. PLC system contain of the following parts. First is power supply. Second, CPUs, input module. Next, output module. The last is the programming device. And the picture will show you the PLC system. So the input module connect with input sensing device. Output module connect with output load device. The programming device will send the program and data to the memory of the central processing unit CPU. And the software PLC. So the IEC 611313 standard define a memory and program model that follow modern software engineering concept. A software-based PLC requires a general-purpose computer like a PLC with an interface card. The software entirely utilizes the operating system resources of the computer to realize control, logic, and I/O functions. So, what is the working principle of PLC? First, CPU checks, I/O module check, scanner inputs, execute program, object output. And what is the right working principle? So, the operating system starts cycling and monitoring uptime. The CPU starts reading the data from the input module and check the status of all the input. The CPU starts executing the user for application program, writing in the relay ladder logic or any other PLC program language. Next, the CPU performs all the internal diagnosis and communication tasks. According to the program's results, it writes the data into the output module so that all output are updated. This process continues as long as the PLC is in run mode. So next is the type of PLC. We have two types of PLC. First one is brick type, also called compact, the modular, and rack mounting. So I just introduced you two common type PLC. First, an example of brick type is S7200. Use CPU 224. The communication is device COM purpose, Profibus, serial gateway, Ethernet. The high bit counter is 6 total. Push output of this is 2 push and with 20 kHz. The second type of the modular we have S7300 with using CPU 314. The communication is multiple interface, Profibus DB, Profinet point-to-point. It also have 4 fast counter with 60 kHz. The push output is 2 pulse while modulation up to 2.5 kHz. Sensor actuator. The first is the 3-phase motor, 3-phase external motor. The construction, first one is stator. It's a stationary part of the motor. The second is rotor. The working principle of this is a rotating field is set up in the stator when a 3-phase supply is given. The stationary rotor cuts the reverse field. Due to electromagnetic induction, an EMF is induced in the rotor conductor. As the rotor conductor is short circuit, current flows through them, and last it becomes a current carrying conductor in magnetic field and start rotating. The application of this is left driving lathe machine, crusher, oil extracting mill, textile. The wiring, we have two type wiring, contactor with star, contactor with KY. Next is pneumatic cylinder actuator. The function is to reject the empty carton box. The construction of this, most of the cylinder with a piston rod contain the following part: a tube that close on both ends with a cap and head. Inside the tube, sand below a piston rod moved with drive piston. The working principle is forcing gas or air into the cylinder, which will move a piston after a certain amount of pressure is reached. The piston is attached to another mechanism that performs the desired disease function of the machines. The application of this is open the door, take things on or off conveyor belt, and lifting heavy objects. The wiring of this, and we move on the sensor photoelectric switch to detect carton boxes. Contraction of this is a line source, a line receiver, a main circuit, and an output circuit. The working principle of this is sensitive element to detect objects and a make up of an emitter, light source, and a receiver. This application is detect change in the text color, contrast, and detect the level of content in a hopper. The wiring of this, we have two types of wiring. The first is wiring DC, and second is AC. They will also have PNP, NPN, and emitter wiring. The next one is capacity proximity switch to detect the liquid in the box. And this sensor I will introduce you the construction by the picture. This is the cell adjustment potentiometer, electrical field, sensor electrode, RC oscillator, signal conditioning, output state, and working principle of that. When the metal of the electric approach the electrode, the capacitance between a main electrode and ground potential increase by the effect of the electrostatic induction, the shear oscillation, the RC oscillation circuits that start oscillation depending on capacitance change of this electrode is composed and detected by increase of the oscillation amplitude. When the sensing object is dielectric, the change in the capacitance between a main electrode and ground potential grow by the relative permittivity lag, and it's easy for the sensor to detect it. The application of capacity proximity switch is liquid to detect liquid level, spacing, indicator, thickness measurement, and wiring of this. We have two wire NPN sensor or three wire NPN sensor, and the device that you should use in this system. The first one is contactor. We call LS2P 12 ampere. Two, and second is a capacity proximity switcher and E3 F3 on-room photoelectric switcher, and the stroke double acting mini pneumatic air cylinder, and for AC 3-phase asynchronous motor And why you should do this? Because it is very easy to find in Vietnam and the cost is very low. Also, this bonodom is very easy to use, so you should buy and use this device in your system. So, what is the model that you should choose in your system? What? The Allen Bradley compact logic. And why you should to choose Allen Bradley branch, a common programming environment, common network, common control engine in a small footprint with high performance, combined with compact I/O or compact I/O module. The compact logic platform supports simple to more complex motions with unprecedented power and scalability. A compact logic platform is ideal for systems that require standalone and system-connected control over Ethernet, IP, ControlNet, or device network. And the last is an example of PLC system I will introduce for you. The first we have contactor, relay, motor, start button, stop button, NPN sensor, fan, bottle, PNP sensor, cylinder. So the operation principle of this is whenever you press the start button, the motor is run and the bottle is come to the first area. The NPN sensor will detect the bottle, then stop the motor, and the proximity sensor will turn on the van. And the van is fill the bottle. Then the capacity proximity sensor will check the liquid in the bottle and then stop the van and turn on the motor. After that, the bottle will come to the second area, which have cylinder, and NPN sensor will detect bottle, then turn off the motor, and proximity sensor and PNP sensor will detect the bottle, then turn on the cylinder, and then the cylinder will put on the lid the bottle. Then it's run continuous. So thanks for listening my presentation, and I very hope that you choose Allen Bradley brand and also the device of them, also the device that I offer for you. Thank you and have a nice day. Ting, ting, ting.